Hello everyone, it's Connie and I am live. And getting my camera set up here. I decided to go live a little late today because had lots of errands to do. One of my errands included getting my flu shot. It's a little early in the season for a flu shot. You just have to get it before the end of October. But that was part of my errands today, in addition to all the other crazy stuff we did. And one thing that's really interesting, we go to Sam's Club, is they gave us a $10 coupon if you're a member and you get your flu shot there. And I'm like, deal. So Steve and I each got one, so we get $20 worth of free stuff. Hello. And we would have done the flu shot anyway. So I just wanted to let you know that if for those of you who do the flu shot thing, that's a great deal. Anyway, today I've got a great card. I have two great cards. I had a really hard time picking which one to do today, but today, fall one out, and I'm going to do fall. Moose is here with me. You might hear him squeaking in the background. He brought over his gigantic whale toy. It's like an orca, and it's like 2 feet long, and it's got a squeaker in it that's about the size of a pop bottle, and wow, is it loud. I just want you to know you may hear it a few times. Anyway, today I want to use this More Than Autumn set from Stampin' Up. It's really great. It's got the coffee stuff, pumpkin pie, it's got donuts, little treat kind of things that you can add to your coffee, lots of messages, right? And the dies are fantastic. Look, you can get, I love the nothing's better than die. You can do the lettering on that. Pumpkin, spice, apple, season, cocoa, hot cocoa. And there's also latte and coffee dies, and then all the stuff to cut out, all the little parts and pieces. So this is a really fun set. Oh my gosh, that squeaker's so loud. I'm sorry, you all. I gave him a treat, and now he's all happy. He ate his treat already. Okay, Moose, we hear ya. Anyway, this is the set I'm going to use today, and today I want to make a basic easel card. So a basic easel card is so simple. It's a very simple card to make. Basically, it's an A2 cut lengthwise. So it's 4 1/4 by 11, and so if you have an 8 1/2 by 11 sheet of paper, you just chop it in half. Lengthwise, straight instead of across. What's the word I'm trying to think of? Sorry, I'm distracted by my dog. That's terrible. Anyway, and then you fold it in half just like you normally would to make a card. And then the front of the card gets scored halfway again. And you put the decorations on it so they kind of pop up, and it sits on a table or something, and then you just put something on the inside to catch the card like that. So that's your basic easel card. This is an old one that I made, and of course I keep it in with my templates because I love looking at that every single time. Disney, hello. I'm even wearing my Disney shirt today. I'm so excited. So we're going to start with scoring. And so basically, I'm getting out my trimmer, and I'm going to use my scoring blade, which is the gray blade. And I'm basically just going to, score it in half, because that'll be my card, basic fold in half. And then the front of the card, I want to score it halfway, which is 2 3/4. And so I'm just going to put that at the 2 3/4, score it, and that is all you need for this card. There's your base. And so this one's a really good one for a stash buster because you have really easy folds. You can make these card bases quickly. And if you get 8.5 by 11 cardstock, you know, you can make this, you make a whole bunch of card bases really fast. The next thing that you need on here is a main image. And my main image is going to be made up of a lot of the little die cuts. And so today I'm coloring, and I'm going to mat them on these pieces that will go on the front of my card. So let's color first. I have a whole bunch of marker colors out. I have the tri-blends, and I have brown, gray, gold brown, coral, the gold brown shades, and the earth brown blend, and the burnt orange. Do you need them all? No, probably not. But these are nice fall colors for what I'm making today. And I'm just going to pick up one at a time and go for it. The first thing, you're probably wondering what the heck I'm using coral for. And coral is interesting because it looks, you know, peach, of course. It looks peach. Let me grab scrap paper and I'll show you. So it looks pink or peach, and it doesn't look orange at all, really. But if you put it with orange, it can look, it starts kind of looking orange. So you can use it almost like a light orange. But what I wanted to do, my light orange is actually quite dark. As a matter of fact, here's the burnt orange light color. And you can see it's quite a bit bolder than any of those other colors. And so I'm going to zoom in a little bit while we color. And so I'm using the light coral, and I stamped the whipped cream just using just a little bit of gray, light gray, and I'm just going to kind of go over the whipped cream lines just a little bit with this coral, and you're probably like, it looks pink. But when you put it with that orange, it is going to have an orange hint, and that's what I was going for. So that's what I got the coral out for. Now the next thing is my burnt orange. Of course, I have several things that I need in orange, and one of the things is this pumpkin on the front, and I'm just gonna go in here with my darker shade and then fill in with my lighter color. And sometimes if I feel like, it needs more definition, I'll go in with the really dark. It just needs a little something, right? And then my donuts, sometimes I will outline or shade with the darker and then just color in with the lighter. See if I have enough ink left in my light color. My light color of burnt orange is getting low, and it's one of the colors that I don't have a re-inker for. I heard a rumor when I was at Daisy Lane. They said, you know, the tri-blends, I don't know if they quit making them or they sold the rights to them. The Crafter's Companion Spectrum Noir sold the rights to them or something. I don't know exactly what happened. Something happened with that company. Anyway, I heard a rumor that there's a couple of companies that are going to come out with their own versions of the tri-blend markers, and I'm like, yay, because we all love them. And the only way to get the colors of burnt orange, if you can't find the re-inker for it, is to buy almost like a whole new pack. It's hard to find the marker burnt orange by itself, and it's my favorite orange. I like it better than regular orange. So you can see I'm running out of ink. Hope I have enough to do my third donut. All right, so I'm doing the donuts different colors. I'm gonna hold off on doing that third one, let my ink saturate a little bit. In the meantime, I'm going to take my gold brown, and I have the blend and the shades, and I'm gonna actually color the actual cake part of the donut in a brown. That goes pretty fast. What I like to do with these is I like to put a whole bunch, like stamp a whole bunch of them in a row and just assembly line color them, and then I have a whole lot of them at once instead of doing this one item at a time kind of thing. But for today, for this card, oh my gosh. Hi, Christy. Thank you for watching. I hope that this Facebook thing is working out. You know, this is one of those things that Facebook has just been a little fiddly, and it's kind of annoying. But sometimes they make changes that make it kind of hard on people to continue their lives and stuff. And so what I've noticed is a lot of people are switching from Facebook to YouTube, and I'm not quite ready to switch over completely to going live on YouTube. I like the Facebook interaction and stuff that I have. I'm sure I'd have it going direct to YouTube too, but this way I have my smaller group. I can do some videos just for my smaller group, and some videos that I put out there in YouTube land. A lot of them I put out in YouTube because Facebook doesn't, you know, actually save them anymore. Okay, what colors do I have left? I have my gold brown shades. Now these are the darker. If you ever buy Spectrum Noir tri-blends, so gold brown, they have the blends and the shades, and basically it goes from the lightest all the way to the darkest colors. And so the shades are the darker colors. So if there's something that you want colored a darker color, like the cinnamon stick, I'm just gonna color that in like that. And then I have earth brown, and I decided to do earth brown for this little thing. I hope I haven't been off camera this whole time. My gosh. I just realized my camera was kind of aimed upwards. Let's see. So I'm just going to real quick color this in. And you don't miss much with my coloring because that is just basic. And then sometimes I will put a little, if you flick color from the edge into the center, you can kind of get it to look shaded, like it's rounded. And I try not to make it like a solid line. I try to just flick it. All right, it's time to zoom out a little since I'm unreliable with where I'm at in the camera. All right, and then the last thing I have to color, this is the brown gray, and I'm basically going to add some color to this cup. I don't want the cup necessarily to be gray, but if you flick color from the edge to the center like that. And then go to the other side and do the same. And not go all the way to the center. You can kind of see what happens is that you get like almost like a shadow in the center or a highlight in the center of the cup. Like light is shining on it. And then all I have to do is put this together. So I'm going to put a little tiny bit of glue here. Come on, glue bottle. I filled my glue bottle last night and I didn't check it before I went live. So I'm just going to put a little glue across the top. I'm going to put my whipped cream on top. And then I really want my, I'm going to cut the bottom of that cinnamon stick off. I'm going to put a little cinnamon in there, just like that. Cute. My donuts. I also die cut the leaves. The way the leaves cut, they cut in two pieces as an outline and a center, but I'm going to use them put together, which is, I should have taped it or something, but whatever. Okay, so I went ahead and stamped grateful, it's finally, and then I'm going to say pumpkin season. And when you're going to do a message like this, it really does help to take that stamp and stamp it. There's a whole bunch of these that are kind of straight. It really does help to do it against a straight edge, like right here. And then it's really easy to just cut that straight into a strip or on your trimmer or whatever. And so I'm going to be using that and all these parts. So first things first, I'm going to layer up my image here. This paper that I'm using right here is from the Autumn Toile. I really love this paper. It's absolutely gorgeous. And the other side of it you saw was the green, like mallards, the ducks. And I'm not as crazy about this design. I love the color, not the design so much. So I flipped it over and I'm using this. Now this stripe right here, you're probably like, that's not part of Autumn Toile. No, that is part of the Celebratory Sips. And I really love this orange stripe, and so I sort of hoarded it back and saved it. And then this piece is actually from the Weekend Adventure pack. So go figure. I just pulled all of my scraps, and these were colors that worked together, and I really like how this looks. Now, I'm going to layer all 4 of these, but I want a little dimension behind it. So I don't want it necessarily with a bunch of foam tape, but I do want something behind it to make it a little, I don't know, give it a little depth. So this is just a piece, scrap paper, scrap cardstock. I pulled it out of my file. It's a color I don't use often, and I am just going to stack it on top of each other on the back. And what that does is it gives me like several layers of thickness of this cardstock, and it uses up my scraps, which is really great. And when I put this on the back or onto my card, I'll show you, it'll have just a little bit of dimension. I like how it kind of pops up. Can you see there's a little gap right there, a little space? It's perfect. And that way it really does look a lot more dimensional, especially in person. And it doesn't add a ton. Like foam might add quite a bit more thickness. Like this is a dimensional. It would be up another, I don't know, it would be up a bit more. So that's just one thing that I like to do. I have a couple of other little things. Oh, I want to do a couple little stamping things. Okay. One thing is I cut out this pumpkin season. I really like how it looks, but it's kind of flat. It's kind of one dimensional. I like to add a little shading to it, and it's such a small thing. But if you take a little bit of a darker color and just pounce it on the edges a little bit, sometimes you can get like, you can kind of see the difference, right? This one's a lot darker. And then this one is just kind of light. And I could have used just a darker shade of cardstock. But this way it has a little bit of pop off the page, which I really like. And let me just get my spritzer here and clean that off. I love this glass mat. Have I said that lately? Hey, look, I got a different rag out. It won't take me very long to make that one look bad, but hey, it's new. I love it. Okay, I went with pink. It'll be really gross soon, so enjoy it now. There's a couple of stamps. There's a sprinkle and a little heart, and I just thought it might be kind of fun to, since there's gonna be a border around this piece, I thought it might be nice to have something stamped, you know, kind of around the border. And so I like the idea of using the heart and then maybe some sprinkles, and I'm just gonna put this around, and I'm not like trying to fill in the whole space, but just a little here and there, like that. Now when I put this on, see, it has like a little border. Isn't it cute? Okay, so now when you attach your main image here, you want it to pop. So you don't want to put glue at the top. You only want to put glue at the bottom of this. Otherwise, you'll glue the whole thing down and that fold will not open. It won't work. So now I'm just going to kind of line it up, center it. Like I said, this is a great assembly line card because if you like to do like the pocket cards, this is a great pocket card, you know, size. This is like 3 by 4. And I just kind of did layers that are small. I started with like 3 by 4 and went smaller. And that way you can, you know, you can see that a pocket card would be great here. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and start decorating. So I want it to say grateful, it's finally, and I could put it at the top or the bottom, but I'm going to put it at the bottom. And then I have some donuts, and I love the idea of putting the donuts on here. Now remember, if you're going to do something that hangs over, that's fine, but don't put glue where it's going to attach to the base of your card. You only want to put glue where it's going to actually adhere to the pop-up part. So I have a couple of donuts there. And then I do want my coffee to pop a little. So I am going to use some dimensionals on that. You don't need a bunch, but just enough to pop it up. Come on now. There we go. All right. And we will put this here. And then I have my leaves. Now, here's the thing about my leaves. Since when I cut them and those separated, I'm going to put the hollow one in first like that. I just want to make sure it's down. And then I'm just going to put this on top of there and push it in to the glue. This one didn't separate, and the reason it didn't separate is because I stacked them when I put them into my machine. I put 2 layers of brown, ran it through 2, so the bottom layer did not cut all the way through. It was perfect, but the top layer cut into 2 pieces. So, all right. I'm sorry. I seem to have a problem with my being off camera today. How annoying. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Okay, so there's what I have. Now on the inside, when it pops up, you need something to catch it. Could be anything. I could even just make it a donut, right? And put my words down. But I want layers. Again, I want layers. And so I am going to glue some layers together. Let's see. I think I'm going to use this and cut a little flagged tail on it and put it right there. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. I just want to make sure my little leaves are going the same direction. Like that. And there we go. Then I'll put this piece on top. I like how that looks. And then we want it to say pumpkin season. So it says gratefully, it's finally pumpkin season, right? And so I'm just gonna dot some glue on here. The smart thing to do when you're cutting out all these words is to use that double-sided adhesive. Stampin' Up sells it. It's amazing. I just always forget to put it on the back of my cardstock before I cut. And then I end up having to glue all these fussy little pieces together. So, all right, I like how that looks. Now, the thing about this is it needs to be somewhat dimensional if you want it to catch on your card. So you need dimensionals across here. And I often will use the long side if I need a big stretch of dimensional. Just, you know, a piece that will work without having to put all the little tiny pieces on. And I think it does need a couple in the middle, just so it doesn't sag. But that's a great way to use this if you don't have foam tape, or you could use my scrap trick. The scrap trick really does work great. I love how this looks. I'm gonna put it here. And then I gotta decide how I want my third donut. I could put it up here at the top. I could put it down here at the bottom. I do like it there. You can put it anywhere you want. You know what? I kind of like the idea of putting it here. I think here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cut it. I know, I heard you gasp. I just heard it audible. What'd she do? And I'm gonna make it peek out. So it looks like there's a couple of donuts right there. Isn't that cool? All right, so there is my basic card, and it'll catch just like that. Now, the last thing, of course, it needs a little bit of bling. Needs a little bling. I have options. So I got new bling. This one is the Cajun Craze and Gold Dots, which has a Cajun Craze orangey tone with gold flecks. And then I have this one, which is the Streaked Dots, which are brown. It's hard to see them color-wise, but I really think either one of those would look amazing. The other option I have here is the 2025 to 27 in color flat pearls, and I have just a few orange ones left, which I think look really good. Orange, hello. This is what we're working with today. And so I'm like, all right, we'll work with that. I like that a lot. So fun, you guys. The Cajun Craze ones, somebody asked me about these just a little bit ago, but these, if I hold one of these up, you can see what that looks like if I used it instead. There's one of those versus the orange. The orange ones are a little bit see-through, so they're not as bold orange as they look on here. They're not transparent, but they're not as solid. So if you use them on a white paper, they're going to look more true than what I did with this brown. But I really do like this dot, and I'll be using them more with my fall collections. Anyway, so here's the card today. It is grateful. It's finally pumpkin season, and I made a few of them. I just have been playing around, and they're basically all the same, right? I changed where the dots are a little bit and where the donuts are a little bit, but there's with the gold druzy dots, those were released like last Christmas or something, and I almost always use glue with my dots because I'm messy. And then see, this one I did hearts all around and just colored in a couple of hearts. And here's one that I did with the Halloween stars. You know, they have the white, purple, and black, and I just used my marker and colored in orange. So I thought that was really cute. And so, yeah, here's some options. The other thing that I did on these cards to make them a little more special, okay, is I used a white jelly roll pen, and I just highlighted a couple of areas on the pumpkin. I kind of highlighted a couple of areas on the donuts, just to give them a little bit of dimension. And then I used some glossy accents on the donuts. You can see how shiny they are. I'll show you what that looks like. Let me grab them. So any glossy accent, or if you have liquid glass left over from Close to My Heart or any of that, Basically, it's all the same. It's just, you squirt it on, maybe unclog it first. This stuff clogs, and I usually, before I put it away, I put a pin through it just to make sure that it's clear. And then I store it on its side. That really does help a lot. That's why this is really old, this bottle that I'm using right now. But basically, it goes on like this, and it looks kind of cloudy. But when it dries, it'll be clear and shiny and kind of dimensional looking, and it looks really cool, glossy, like kind of like frosting. So I thought that would be a really cool addition. So this one, I gotta set it aside to dry because you can see, here's one that's dry versus the one that I just did. And once it's dry, it'll look nice and clear instead of foggy. So there you go. Got to set that aside so I don't screw up and lay something in it. All right, that's my card today. I hope you love it. I'm sorry my camera angle was off a little bit today, but I'll get it back together for next week. My next card, I think Wednesday I have a really cool card that you're really gonna like. And then I am really toying with doing another Stash Buster. I don't know if I'll do that tomorrow or what. Steve's got a racetrack thing tomorrow morning, and I was like, I could get a bunch of Christmas cards done. That would be really amazing to be able to do that. So, all right. Anyway, thank you all for watching so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate the likes and the comments. I love seeing what you make. If you want to post a picture of what you make in the comments, that's amazing. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.